Bishop Wellington Boone.
You think God is going to let that person rule and reign with him over the creation itself? If I judge myself, I said, I need you to grow me some more. I need the help of the Holy Ghost. I need you to transform me some more. I can see you clearer now. Help me, please. Hey, Bishop, that's a little strong for the people. What? But you wanted me to come over here, so that's what you get. Okay, there you go. I'm scared of God because he's the ultimate judge. I'm not scared of man. I'm not scared of the balloon flying up over the United States and potentially China looking at our nuclear arsenal in the Midwest. I'm not afraid of Russia. And it's pretty much well known that the arsenal of Russia and the arsenal of China is more up to date than America's nuclear arsenal. Basically because Obama took the funding away because he felt like it was mutual destruction and that if there was a nuclear war, everybody would get killed. But people of debauchery don't think that way. The Chinese people think that we're the number one global power, that they can defeat us. They're challenging us. They challenge us on every turn. They're trying to crash our economy. It's said that we owe them trillions. What are we doing a debt of nation when the dollar is still the currency for global value? The dollar. If we decided not to pay China, their economy would collapse. Not ours, not our debt. Russia, a grown man, Putin, I wanted to know, is he married and does he have children and where are the children? So I looked it up. That's the internet. So I looked it up. And now their daughters and children are in hiding since he attacked the country, Ukraine. But he's a dominating. He doesn't have to get permission from his board. He runs it by a terrorist operation there, the KGB, which he was once the head of. The new president of China and their military are in disagreement. Their military is really powerful right now and doesn't need political pressure to make their decisions. So there is some contention right within that country. Our world is shaking right now. The corruption of the presidents of many of the countries of Africa. Africa is the new servant continent of the world. We have moved from China to Africa. It's a shorter trade route. I've said that to you. But the difference is now many Africans are now educated, so they can handle some of the business potential of much of the world, particularly America. They're smart. Africans are very smart, and now they're educated. But they don't have the systems in place to deal with the corruption of their leadership. They're taking money and running with it, putting it in secret accounts and that. You still have corruption in leadership in Africa. And then you have the nonsense we faced in the last few years. To the former president, the president before him, we've never had what we would consider a righteous president. I mean, still the most favored president was Abraham Lincoln, and basically that has to do with black disenfranchisement. I mean, he's favored because he set blacks free and allowed a war to happen to make it happen. But America didn't end slavery by revelation, they ended it by tribulation. Not by Christ's bloodshed, but by the bloodshed of the military soldiers. 500,000 to 600,000 of them died, yet the heart of America was never changed. That's why we have the disenfranchisement now. Man's bloodshed isn't strong enough to change the attitude of a country. That's why it was Hitler's Third Reich. 2 other times Germany tried world domination. They were never changed by revelation. Bishop coming here screaming at you, trying to give you an update on the culture, on what's happening globally. Now, I'm going to go to what's happening with God in a minute. And you know what? Actually, it won't be that long. You know what? Because I'm at the place now where I'm broken up. And I don't want to talk to people that don't want to listen. And I'll be drawn into where there is a hunger for what I have to say. And that's where God knows if I sit there and lay there and listen to him, I'm not going to force feed anybody. They're going to have to want it. They don't want it, it's okay. They got to answer to God, not to me. If I tell you the truth and I make it available and you still do your own way, that's up to you. He's called God the judge of all. If you think that money is the bottom line to everything, which is seemingly what? And when Paul talks to Timothy, he says the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money, the love of it. People are going crazy over money right now. When I ask about your children and their education, and immediately say he has a good job and how much money he makes, that seems to be important. But you didn't tell me about your devotion level of your child, that he's living for God, he's available, he's a man or a woman of prayer, and they give out the things of God. You don't talk to me about that. You talk to me about their educational background and their achievement in the flesh, which is nothing to God. It's all going to burn. So then you look at the movie stars, and you look at them, the nonsense that goes on. Everybody knows what's going on with Tom Brady and his wife, and they know what's going on with Kanye West. They know the updates. I mean, I don't have to be around anybody long before they were going to tell me the updates on what's going on with Kanye and his new girlfriend, or the workout guru of Brady's wife or former wife. I don't know if they're still married. I don't keep up with it, but there are people that come to me and voluntarily tell me about debauchery. They're not telling me about their latest revelation with God, though. They tell me about their internet information, which may or may not be believable. I listened to the president say that I inherited a bad economy, and then the news people he was talking to put it up. Inflation was 1.6 when he first became president, and it got up to 9% while he's president in 2 years. He looks America right in the face and lies right to their faces. And one of the things that God, as a judgment of God, is he puts a lying spirit on you. It's what our nation is facing. In every category, the FBI says, well, I don't stop free speech, and then they show the people that are talking about educating their children, and they don't want that education, revisionist history and all that. And you show the FBI shutting these people up. They're not violent. They say, we stop violence. Well, why don't you let them talk then? Because you are looking at the Americans in their face and lying, and Americans don't have the resolve to stand against it. The church doesn't seem to take its place as leaders of the potential of a nation or a world. They're scared about the penalty against them. Now, let me say this before I go into Jeremiah 15, which is where I'm going to start from. But you look at every one of the prophets of the Old Testament, they all suffered for their call to God. But listen, these prophets went to God, and God told them what he was thinking about the nation. And those prophets spoke to kings and leaders and told them this was a spiritual exchange in the invisible realm. They ascended to the things of God and left the things of man. They were able to access the heavenlies. And what God told them, the invisible God, God who is spirit, told a human what he was thinking. And those people knew that what those prophets said was from God. they still did their own way. Israel fell into cyclical judgment. They were judged by God. They cried in their dilemma, their challenges. God heard their cry, sent them a prophet who declared blessings. They were blessed. In their blessings, they got into idolatry. Listen, fornication, rebellion, served other gods. And usually it's through the women. It's the women who led them to idolatry, practices of Moloch and these false gods. They make physical gods themselves, human beings, things that couldn't talk, and said that was their gods. And God would judge them again. They'd fall into cyclicals. And then the fact that Israel just became a nation in 1948 is a product of a 2,000-year judgment on them for their rebellion. And they're trying to talk about the destruction of the Jews. Well, the destruction of the Jews isn't greater than the destructions of black America. It's not greater. Blacks identify with that history. There's a similarity to it. Except blacks doesn't understand they're called of God. It says it in 1 Corinthians 1. Not many wise are called, not many noble are called. I've called the base things of the world to confound the wise. The disenfranchised are called because you'll give yourself over to God, and in that giving yourself over, he then puts an anointing on your life to be something you could never be without him. You can't get to that unless God allows a situation to come on you where your cry is authentic. That's how Israel became a nation, in their cry. And now in black America, don't worry, this is no extra charge. But the ones that you would respect, Jamal Bryant, Bishop Morton, William Murphy, these people are, just Joe Street, they're not the only ones. They are pro-gay. They say it's all right for gays to get married when the Bible calls it, not only to have a relationship, the Bible calls it an abomination. Leviticus 18. He says this first, he says in Romans 1, it's vile affections. Jesus is the author of life, and we say it's all right to be choice. Those three men I mentioned say it's all right for a woman to kill the baby in the womb. They are pro-choice. And yet, you buy their records from William Murphy. I looked at the celebration of Martin Luther King celebration. It was down there at Ebenezer. I didn't hear one prayer. I looked at the whole thing. I didn't hear nothing said about the Holy Ghost. There was nothing said about people being born again and the call of God on a person's life. They were just talking about social reform, the condition of black America. The condition of black America is not economical or physical. The condition of black America is that there has not been a revival down there in 100 years. Nowhere in America since Azusa Street in 1906. Now that's something to be sorry about. Big churches, but a little God, because they don't go by him. You think articulation is the same as revelation. And people don't know God. Some of those mothers that used to get on their knees and pray and hold you accountable. Girl, go put yourself on a decent dress. What are you doing with pants that tight where you can see the imprint of your mess? Who are you trying to attract? And now, we're afraid somebody's going to say that's none of our business. It is about you. It's God's business. You don't represent yourself in it. You represent God. It's called the beauty of holiness. Nobody's probably told you some of your hairstyles are ungodly. I mean, that's like, whoa, Bishop, you're going way out there now. Well, read 1 Peter 3. Some of your nail sizes, the way you do them, the lipstick, the mess, the earrings, the way you wear them, it doesn't look like you're a saint. You look exactly, put the world there and put you there, you look exactly alike. Why? Because you're suffering from a dysfunction. You want to be seen. But that ain't the issue of your life. It's to be known by God. That's your great value. You're called to be pregnant and to birth godly people into the world, to carry to term somebody that's going to rule. I talked with somebody recently, and they had one child. And I said, you going to have any more? He said, no, that's enough, that's enough. I said, why? They said, well, it's really a challenge raising them. No, it's that you're not raised yet. I said, I said this. They said, oh, I said, somebody's children is going to run things. Why shouldn't it be yours? Aren't you raising up great children that could make a difference, that could lead? You can't think of any area in life that somebody's kids isn't leading it. Don't you understand what children are for? You think God just wanted you to have children so you can say that little baby doll you used to have when you were growing up, now is that little child, that's your little baby doll? That's your little, hey dude, that's your little mini me. Well, who are you then? You don't have the slightest idea because your reference point isn't God. Go ahead. Say, I love you, Bishop. Go ahead and tell me the truth. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead. Take a deep breath. Say, I love you, Bishop. Take a deep breath. Now, I'm the granddaddy. See, right? Bishop Hunt is the daddy. I'm the granddaddy. Granddaddies always get you straight. What granddaddies do? Well, they're compromising with you. And then they'll bless you after they get you straight. Here, take this $100 and go buy yourself something. That's what they do. I did that. I just did it yesterday. After I straightened some stuff out, then I sent them some money. Did it to my daughter this morning, prayed for her, and then sent her some money. But you're not going to get the truth from me. I'm not going to talk around you. Talk to you. It's going to be the truth. So I've given you a kind of a periphery of what's going on in life now. You're either on the solution side or you're on the problem side. You got to make up your mind. Because in the economy of God, I got a chance to talk with leaders. Now, what I was wondering is, were you summoned to be in the leadership time with me at 8:30? And if you were, why weren't you there? Now, one person came to me and said, I wasn't there because I had this to do. And it was just wonderful that they were accountable. See? But if you weren't in the leadership group, how long have you been in the church and why are you not leadership? See? So I talked about 5 principles of becoming leadership. I gave them a paper. I don't give out handouts. I got tons of booklets and stuff. I got all kinds of stuff right here. But I don't have time to go by doing an acrostic with you, just telling you the truth. And actually what I'm going to do is, Sean, I'm going to do the read-through for today, February the 5th. I'm just going to give you some of the highlights from each of those passages, and I'm done. I'm almost done. I probably got about 15 minutes. I'm done with you. Let you go ahead on, live your life, leave you alone. See, that's what it is. That's what you got. And so, but let me just tell you this, though. My expectation and faith is that you're going to fulfill all his will. I don't believe that you're ordained to lose with God. You might lose with man, but you're not ordained to lose with God. God decided to bring you into this world, just the same as he decided to make Adam. The disconnect is you don't take your life that way. That God brought you into this world, you're sovereign, and that he wants to get something out of your life. God isn't trying to do what you want him to do. He wants you to do what he wants you to do. You got to get that right. And then you're going to be way more amazing than anything you ever thought. Way more amazing. And then in the great day, get rewarded for being amazing. I mean, that's got to be a good plan for you. You got to be able to see it that way. So Jeremiah 15, Father, thank you so much for the revelation of your word, for the people of God, for this church. I mean, this church is a blessed church, and these are a blessed people. They've been summoned by you to be alive right now. They are not be tempted above that they are able. That even though the devil has thrown his best at them, they're still right here. They're in church today. They're listening to me. It's a challenge for them, but they're right here. I speak your blessings over them, and I say that all of them have made themselves available for you to do something with them that's wonderful. Faithful are you who call them, who also will do it. I want you to get a sense when I talk to you today of a call on your life. I don't want you to just exist. I want you to have a sense that God brought you into this world. You're called by God, and you're not going to die until His will is fulfilled in your life. And you're going to help somebody else be something they would never be if you weren't alive. That's how you're the resource people. You're not the need-based people who are just trying to make it. You got God on your side. Now, you may not know how to navigate that perfectly. Nobody does. But Paul says, I press for the mark of the prize of the high call. So, I mean, wait a minute, Paul. You out here reaching the whole Gentile world and you're still pressing. He said, yeah. And the things that I would do that I don't do. The things that I would not do that I do. Oh, wretched man that I am. You mean God chose somebody wretched to do that? He said, yeah, because we all started out that way. We just don't stay that way. He's pressing for the mark of the. My goal is to satisfy God completely. But where I am right now, I still got a ways to go. That's what he was saying. With half of the New Testament, still realizing I could grow. So I made the point the last time I was here, it's not where you go to, it's where you grow to in God. The issue of every system is growing. A child, what? Grows. A company grows. Your education grows. And those growth levels determine your placement. It's never more important for you to understand that than that in God. You got to grow in God. Okay? So if Bishop Hunt if you can't get it all from him on Sunday morning, say, Bishop, can you do a special class right here so that I can grow? This area right here is an area I need. Boom. Before you know it, he's got a class. He got 15 people. 15 people, you think I won't? Jesus had 12 disciples. I'll take 12. About what I had in there this morning. I'll take 12. I'll give you my best. That'll mean something to you. You could do that with Bishop Hunt. Nobody can pastor over 12 families unless they're not being honest with you. 12 families is 12 worlds. Every one of those families got a lot of stuff going on in their lives. And if a pastor was grilling down into all of that, that'd be about all he could handle. Couldn't handle it. The benefit of it, you become churchgoers. The stuff that's really going on in your life, you ain't letting nobody know all of that. How your husband treats you, how your wife treats you, what's going on with your children, what's going on with your money. Ain't nobody know that. See? But to be a legitimate Christian, there's no area you can't remain transparent about. Pastor Hunt, Eileen Hunt, knows what comes into my account. She still runs it. Pastor over there knows what goes into my account. See? Usually, as far as I'm concerned, I could use a lot more money. But God is my source. He's my source.
Bishop Wellington Boone.
Hey, I love what God is saying, what He's doing. I thank God for you being a part of it. Listen, I haven't been talking very much about my read-through for 2023. I want you to be a part of it. Read through the Bible with me through my Eternity Journal, my Bible Guide Eternity Edition booklet. Here it is right here. You can order it. You can get it online.
WellingtonBoone.com.